Colby, thanks for coming to the studio. Nice to see you. Why don't you grab a seat?
Thanks, Eric. Glad to be here.
I'm Eric Miles, and I'm here today with Colby Atwood of Borrell Associates. Colby, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and a little about Borrell?
Well, thank you, Eric. Glad to be here. Borrell Associates is a consulting firm that uses a model of advertising spending to help us understand what's happening in the advertising world, both on the consumer side and the business side. And we spent about 10 years developing this model, so it gives us pretty good insight into the trends and where things are moving with advertising spending. And we're seeing some very interesting things happening lately.
In researching your material, you made a number of projections with respect to the growth of online video and ads, and a couple of those were online video advertising will triple in 2008 to almost 1.3 billion, and another one was video will grow from 4% to more than 30% of online ads. Can you tell me a little about the background and justification for those type of projections?
There are a few things that have come together to make video ready to pop, and of course one is the proliferation of broadband access to the internet, which makes video practical to watch. And the technology to produce video has improved dramatically as well. So now, not only consumers, but businesses are able to use video to communicate their messages in a much richer environment. And so as businesses come to understand the value of using video as part of their marketing, we're expecting to see a big jump there. And the really interesting thing is that businesses are actually quite far ahead of the consumer side on video advertising. One of the numbers that we're seeing that kind of underscores that is that while business advertising is only about 1/5 the size of consumer-oriented advertising, when you just look at video advertising on the web, businesses are ahead of consumers by 50%. They're spending almost $400 million this year for video advertising. So businesses have really taken to video advertising and are ahead of the curve now.
With these growth rates, is this evolving to a tipping point for the use of video in communication?
Well, I think so. I mean, there's this undercurrent of foundation, if you will, of technologies and perception and awareness of the opportunity that video has. And it takes a while for that to kind of percolate through the market. As businesses begin to see their competitors experiment with it, there's going to be a bandwagon effect here, and everybody's going to need to be keeping up with the leaders. And as businesses develop advertising and marketing pieces that are centered on video, I think others will see how effective those really are and want to jump on the bandwagon.
Colby, in reviewing some of the research that Borrell has published, there's a couple quotes that I would like to drill down on. One being the linear world built around text as a primary transmitter of information will continue to give way to video as a more compelling and efficient mode of communication. So can we drill down a little bit on the meaning of compelling and efficiency with respect to video?
Well, there's a lot of information that could be conveyed with a video. But the other aspect to it is the attention that people pay to a video. I mean, you've never seen people slack-jawed and glazed over looking at a textbook the way you do when they look at a television. They're totally absorbed in what they're seeing and hearing on the screen. And text is like one channel, whereas video is a multi-channel way of engaging people.
Good. Another research point is videos will become immersive, interactive, multimedia experiences, starting with high-end business applications and complex technology where ROI is the greatest. Could you expound on that?
Businesses that are trying to sell a complicated piece of equipment or software and have a need to get a lot of information conveyed accurately and consistently will see the value of going to the effort and expense of producing a high-quality video that does that for them. And they'll be able to compute the return on that investment relatively easily. But as the techniques and the technology for that evolve and become simpler, and as people's expectations for being able to learn about a product or service rise, then I think we're going to see more of that happening in less complex, less expensive types of products and services.
This becomes very important with respect to the sales cycle. I think this whole video era and the consumption of information by video could potentially change the whole prospecting process with respect to selling product.
Well, it certainly could. There's a lot to be said for enabling a prospect to learn in a very clear and efficient manner what it is you're all about and what your products have to offer, rather than using that contact as a first step toward generating a telephone call that generates an in-person appearance and an in-person demonstration. It really shortens that cycle, and it enables people to share the information that you have to offer without having to arrange for conference calls and web seminars and that type of thing. So it encapsulates your information and makes it much more transportable, so you don't have a situation where you sell something, sell a concept to someone, and then hope that they're able to resell that concept in their organization for you. Right. This way, your message can be delivered correctly and completely to everyone who sees it.
Video gives us the opportunity to optimize the prospecting process of a sales cycle, and then from prospecting we evolve to cultivating, where you've got somebody interested in your product because they've seen the information in your video, but they need to get buy-in by their cohorts in a consensus process. Does this make sense with respect to the power of the growth and the peer-to-peer relationship?
I think it makes a lot of sense for businesses to think about video as a way to speak to one person at a time in a coherent manner. And of course, in a sales process, you have a lot of different types of people that you need to talk to. So it probably does make a lot of sense for businesses to create videos that are aimed at a particular decision maker and contain the kind of information that that decision maker needs to hear about. And of course, that could be very different between a financial person and a technical person and a marketing person. So rather than clutter up a single video with messages for each of those people, it probably makes sense to direct them to those individuals.
A value here, again, through the sales cycle and the convincing people of your product values and capability. In the end, you're trying to achieve some sort of mind share.
Well, certainly. And at this stage, a well-produced video is a much more engaging and compelling way to deliver a message than a static website or even text would be. So to the extent that a business can distinguish itself from its competition by offering a more entertaining, if you will, method for conveying their message, I think they're going to be able to steal a march on companies that haven't gotten to that point yet. But in time, it'll become a very normal process, just as having a website used to be a novel thing. And a lot of companies were able to make themselves look much bigger and achieve a lot greater market share because they had a sophisticated website. I think we'll probably see some of the same phenomena occurring around video, that small companies that had a hard time achieving a lot of visibility in the marketplace will be able to look much bigger and have their message be more compelling simply because they have a well-produced video that makes them look even more together than some larger company that hasn't gotten around to it yet.
Good, good. I sort of think of an analogy with, again, back to the sales cycle and the power of video in it, where versus telesales, where you're looking for the needle in the haystack. You know, you're looking for the person that will respond or the person that will return a call. You're looking for the needles, where once you get to peer-to-peer and video condensed communication on point, it's almost like putting a magnet outside the haystack and pulling the needles out.
Absolutely, absolutely. People who have found you for whatever reason can spread your message intact and accurately to all the people that are in their network that they think need to hear about it. So it's like having a ball carrier. It's like being the ball carrier yourself inside that organization. Very good, very good.
Well, that's the main points. I thank you very much for participating, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you very much, Eric. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you.